if we can, give a round of applause and a praise to all the speakers and spoken word artists today. Now, this is the time to get nitty-gritty with some of the difficult issues. And so I will open it up first to the speakers, the presenters, to respond to anything that they've heard or that came to their mind when another person was speaking. And then we'll open up to everybody else. And again, we have until 6 o'clock to close. And this is, again, a very important issue. So hopefully you can spare one more hour, or a little less than an hour. There's a phone ringing. So to talk about and how to eliminate racism when it is disguised, as Kino was talking about. Any of the speakers would like to go and add on to anything that they've heard. Okay, Chris. Whoops. It's Don.
How about now? Sorry about that.
Perfect. I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, in referring to gentleman to my right, and I'm sorry, what was your name?
Jamie. Is that about me?
Yeah. No, sorry. The gentleman down below, sitting to my right down there.
Francisco?
No, I got something for you too, but just in response to what you're saying about the ability to be able to reach a larger audience out there, and like part of what I found is that it's the entire global audience. Like I've been looking at the stats for my thing, like my thing's been viewed thousands of times in every country in the world. So you do have reach. There is a way to be able to get the messaging out there. And that's kind of what I was then kind of took on with this programming after Harlem Reacts. I then released a comedy video, which was a sketch for a treatment center helping people with post-traumatic Harlem Shake disorder. So I was trying to then use that as like getting an argument of like, hey people, maybe you should think twice about doing this because one, you look foolish, and two, you're going to regret it later on. And then I was kind of using that as like, a way to further get out there into that global conversation about it. And then I responded with these two new videos to once again like reintroduce what is the shake, the real Harlem Shake, and what is the history of it. So that's like, I think, a very active step that people can do, and at least that's what I'm trying to do. And I know that other people have their perspectives and their passions and their different means of communication. So I very much want to piggyback on that concept and, implore people to try to do that same thing. Because it's like, you know what, like we are digitally connected now. Let's use that digitally connectedness to have a conversation of value that actually, impart good knowledge to each other and the like. So, this is what I have to say on that bit. And then to my man, DJ, what's your name, Frisco? Francisco, sorry. DJ Francisco, the beat that's attached to the video, The Real Harlem Shake, it's kind of these guys' answer to the first song. Like it starts off in the same way and it's got the record scratch on it. So I implore you to check out that and maybe play that and let that be the response to those who ask for the Harlem Shake song.
I'll look into it.
No doubt.
Another presenter. Don.
I just wanted to say, just really quickly, I appreciate what everyone said, and I appreciate y'all having this event and bringing the energy to this topic, and hopefully it doesn't just stop here. But one of the things that we talk about with these tools, I try and do a lot of work with critical media literacy and youth, because as you know, when you think about it, if you're a college professor now, we get students who have been indoctrinated into the scheme of testing from the 3rd grade, right? And so we're not really educating them, right? We're teaching them how to take a test and regurgitate information. And so then at the end of that, we can't expect them to be critical thinkers. And so it behooves us to create spaces where we allow students to become critical thinkers, and again, not just mindless consumers, but critical producers of culture, and start to look at ways that we can educate specifically underrepresented populations, education for liberation and not subordination. I think that's key. And really understanding this power of hip hop. And I'll leave with this example right now. I just moved to Connecticut. I went out to the schools like, hey, I'm trying to start some work with youth. And so I was like, I'm gonna do a hip hop program. And so they gave me all of the students that, I won't say that they were troubled, but there was Black and Latino males. Most of them this school year have had about 100 class absences. And they don't necessarily come to school. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna do this class on Thursdays at 9 a.m. And these students who hardly come to school were there before I was, waiting to go at 9 a.m. First week we had 22, next week we had 37, next week we had 45, now we have a waiting list of 35 students who are trying to get into the program, right? And so I'm meeting with the administrators tomorrow to talk to them about the essence of hip hop and how we can use this excitement in order to produce critical producers of their culture, right? They say, you know, I don't see these students until Thursday. Why is that? You know, what are we doing in this place to allow them to be who they are, and to equip them with the skills to be successful? And so that's what we have to do, like beyond this talk, beyond these types of forums, is to get out there in the communities and do this work. And I applaud all of you who are out there doing this work, you know, specifically, you know, DJ Francisco. I'm a DJ as well and understand the power of the DJ. Also, the spoken word artists out there who understand like the power that's in the words that you are using to really uplift and open the minds of the youth that you're working with. So I appreciate all of you for the work that you're doing.
Can I add on to that?
Daniel had his hand up.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Sorry, man. I'll be quick. I know there's a lot of good thought process and just good commentary. And I too, I'm very thankful to be on this panel. Anthony, thanks for organizing this. I'm hoping this will be recorded somewhere, because I'm hoping to put this just not up only on my own website, but just as Dawn was talking to the class. A lot of what I do as well is try to help young minds. I always tell young people, look, you come to my class, you know, you're not going to get a lot of answers. In fact, you'll leave with a lot of questions, a lot more questions. But hopefully I'll give you some tools to help you begin to figure out what those questions are. And I just want to go back to the point, I forget who brought it up, but the issue of capitalism and the issue of making money. Because this is, unfortunately, the hood is sold out to the highest bidder right now, and it's cool to be hood and sagging pants and everything until the cops show up. And the cops being the media, cops being the president, cops being anybody, the politicians, anybody that's kind of flipping the flame. I tell people I did a lot of work on Tupac. Apologize for my phone. I do a lot of work on Tupac, and I always say, you know, I don't think Tupac can survive in this climate right now, simply because there's so much censorship as it comes to the understanding of critical thought. I mean, so much, and we're just inundated with information, and I would dare I say 80% of it is just hearsay or just opinion or just some comment, which is great. But at the end of the day, when I look at it, I think Don is right on to something. We've got to begin to look at this, and how do we use these tools for the benefit, better understand what's going on in lyrics, what's going on in video, what's going on in film, what is going on within the actual narrative, within an actual commercial, what's being connoted. I mean, my little girl the other day was just assuming that women are, you know, supposed to be housekeepers. And I'm thinking, where are you getting these messages from? Because it dang sure ain't from me and my wife. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a feminist, my wife is a womanist, you know, it's like weird. But here's the thing, she's getting messages that I have through television and through commercials that say women are supposed to be this way, women are supposed to act this way and talk this way, and only be personified this way. And so we have to begin, and not only necessarily guard, I don't want to go against culture, but we also have to begin to deconstruct what are some of these things, because there's a lot of messages being sent in 30-second sound bites and commercials. And so I'm appreciative of what's happening here, and hopefully the critical mindset continues with us long beyond this little forum here.
And yes, it is being recorded right now in the back. People are taking pictures, as well as it's being live streamed, and people are on live stream around the country and hopefully around the world. So this is a bigger issue, and it is, if I'm familiar, maybe Chris and Don